For my French presentation, I decided to do it on a famous person in French history, and I picked Napoleon Bonaparte, who is the greatest French military general in the history of France. Napoleon was born on August 15th in 1769, and he was the fourth of 11 children. He was born in the island of Ajaccio in France. His father came from a noble bloodline of Italians, and when the French took over the island of Ajaccio, while Napoleon was a young boy, his father remained on good terms with the French. When Napoleon was 10, he entered his first school. In 1779, he went to the College of Autun in Burgundy, France, which was a religious school. But Napoleon did not like it there, and a few months after joining the College of Autun in Burgundy, later in 1779, he transferred to the College of Brienne, which is a French cadet school. Napoleon was made fun of in school for speaking Spanish and not knowing French very well. He earned the nickname Petit Corporal, but he still got a great education, and when his father died, he ruled his household. In 1784, when Napoleon graduated from the College of Brienne, he joined an artillery regiment. This signaled the start of Napoleon's military career. Napoleon rose through the ranks of the French military very quickly. In 1791, he was promoted to first lieutenant. In 1792, he was promoted to captain. In 1793, he was promoted to brigadier general. And when Napoleon saved the government from counter-revolutionary forces in 1795, he was named commander of the Army of the Interior. It was later on next year, in 1796, when Napoleon was given an army of 30,000 disheveled men. He turned them into battle-primed warriors and defeated the Austrian army in multiple key battles, earning his first victories as a military general. In 1799, Napoleon gained power over France, and in 1804, he self-declared himself as the Emperor of France. Napoleon was a great military general. Over his military career, his battle record is 69 wins to only 8 losses. There was an estimated 2 million people in his French army. In 1813, after taking over most of Europe, Napoleon was defeated in the Battle of Leipzig. It took 4 armies to defeat Napoleon. The Austrian, Russian, Swedish, and Prussian army only just did it. After the Battle of Leipzig, he was exiled to the island of Elba, which is an island in the Mediterranean, in 1813. Legend has it that Napoleon, distraught with his failure, was looking to kill himself. He got his hands on a bottle of poison and only had to drink a few drops in order to kill himself. But Napoleon, thinking that he was a big, strong general, he thought that he would need the entire bottle of poison to kill himself. But as he drank the entire bottle of poison, since he drank so much, it neutralized itself in his stomach and he didn't die. After he did not die, Napoleon thought of himself as invincible and returned to France. In 1815, he was welcomed by cheering crowds, and the king at the time, Louis XVIII, fled the country for his own safety. Napoleon quickly raised a new army and started again on his campaign around Europe, regaining the territory that he had lost. Then again, in 1815, the same year, only 100 days after becoming Emperor of France again, he was defeated in the bloody Battle of Waterloo, where he was exiled to the island of St. Helena in 1815, which signaled the end of French domination in Europe. It took 5 armies to defeat Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo, and the Napoleonic Wars lasted 23 years and ended on the Battle of Waterloo. In the French army, Napoleon used tall soldiers in the front of the ranks as spearmen and such, whereas the shorter men were used as artillerymen in the back. Because of this, the tall men died at much higher rates than the short men, and for a few generations in France, the women were taller than the men. It's a common misconception that Napoleon was very short. This is because of a misunderstanding in between the French and English measuring systems at the time. The French measuring system at the time used inches, and 1 inch was 2.74 centimeters, whereas the English measuring system, in which they also used inches, 1 inch was 2.5 centimeters. So in the French measuring system, Napoleon was only 5'2". But if you translate this to the English measurement system, he was 5'7", which was above the average height of a French man at the time. Napoleon brought around a lot of changes in mainland Europe and France that are still seen today. He introduced a number of important political and social reforms. He ended feudalism. He introduced constitutions and judiciary systems. He also introduced voting rights for every man. Napoleon supported education, science, and literature, and his Code Napoleon codified key freedoms such as religious tolerance, which remained the foundation for French civil law, the laws that are still within the country today. Napoleon died in 1821, in his 50s, of a suspected stomach cancer on the island of St. Helena, where he'd been banished after the Battle of Waterloo in the Atlantic Ocean. But in 1840, his remains were taken back to Paris in France and entombed in a crypt among other French military leaders. Thank you for listening to my French project. I hope you learned something new.